Welcome to Humanity Rising. My name is Stefan. I'll be your narrator today. Before starting the story, please subscribe to my channel and full watch the video. Let's start today's story. The chamber of the Galactic Council was designed to intimidate. Its ceiling rose higher than most human skyscrapers, a vault of shimmering crystal that refracted light into rivers of color. Rows of delegates floated in their grav seats, their bodies framed in metallic arches engraved with their homeworld sigils. The air buzzed with translators working overtime to merge dozens of tongues into one seamless chorus. At the center, a circular dais glowed pale blue. That was where those on trial stood, small, exposed, ringed by hundreds of eyes. Today, Earth occupied the circle. Admiral Celine Ward stood alone in her Navy uniform, its dark fabric trimmed with the silver crest of the United Terran Defense Fleet. She carried herself with stillness that bordered on arrogance, though every counselor saw something different in it. Some read defiance, others desperation. High Chancellor Zirak rose from his throne of black alloy, towering even among his own kind. His species, the Vaithran, resembled obsidian statues carved with too many limbs, their glowing eyes unblinking. When he spoke, his voice rolled through the chamber like grinding stone. "Humans," he said, and the translator softened the word into neutrality, though the disdain was clear. "You were granted provisional membership into this council under watchful eyes. In your brief tenure, you have proven yourselves violent, reckless, and dangerously unfit for sovereignty. The time has come to correct this mistake." Murmurs rippled across the chamber. Some delegates nodded. Others shifted uneasily. Celine didn't move. "Define unfit." Her voice was steady, low, and human, translated perfectly, but still carrying the iron edge that needed no filter. Zirak extended a clawed limb. "Your species begins wars among itself even after unification. Your fleets expand into disputed sectors without permission. You weaponize technologies the Council banned centuries ago. Left unchecked, you are a contagion that will spread chaos across the stars." A delegate from the Korati clicked mandibles in agreement. "Humans breed too quickly. Their numbers alone will destabilize balance." A softer voice, from the Thren Syndicate sphere, cut through. "And yet when the Scar Hives descended on our border, it was Terran Marines who bled beside ours. We do not forget that debt." The chamber erupted. Arguments in dozens of tongues layered over each other, shouts, hisses, ultrasonic pulses. Celine watched it unfold with the still patience of a predator waiting for the noise to pass. Finally, Zirak raised a limb, and silence fell. "The proposal stands. Earth's fleets will be dismantled. A council oversight body will govern Terran military activity until such time as you are deemed civilized." The words were delivered like a guillotine blade. Celine allowed herself a breath. She knew this moment was coming. The intelligence briefings had been clear. Still, hearing it voiced so plainly sparked something primal in her chest. She lifted her chin. "Earth does not consent." The translator carried the words into the chamber, and for a heartbeat there was silence. Then the storm broke. "Defiance!" shouted a reptilian delegate from the Solari Union. "Arrogant primates!" muttered another. Others whispered, surprised, unsettled. Celine spoke again, louder this time, letting the words carry. "We entered this council in good faith. We followed your laws, signed your treaties, honored your trade agreements. But sovereignty is not negotiable. Earth is not a vassal state. We will not kneel." The hall shook with outrage. Some delegates stood, their translator fields flickering with venom. Zirak leaned forward, unbothered by the uproar. "You mistake tolerance for equality, human. We allowed you into this chamber as a courtesy, not as an equal power. Your world is a speck of dirt compared to the civilizations represented here. Do not mistake your noise for strength." Celine's eyes narrowed. She didn't raise her voice, but the steadiness of it cut cleaner than shouting ever could. "Noise? Perhaps. But every species in this chamber knows what happens when humans are cornered. You've read our history. You've seen what happens when someone mistakes restraint for weakness. Test us, Chancellor. Please." The room froze. No one missed the quiet dare embedded in her tone. A delegate from the Neutral Feasery League whispered to his neighbor. Is she threatening the council? Celine caught the words, let them hang. She offered no denial. Zirak straightened, his luminous eyes unblinking. Enough. The vote proceeds. The dais lit with symbols as each delegation cast their verdict. One by one, icons flared across the chamber, overwhelming majority in favor of stripping Earth's sovereignty. Only a handful opposed. When the final mark appeared, Zirak announced, by decree of the Council, Earth's fleets are hereby ordered disarmed. Compliance is mandatory. Enforcement will follow. Celine exhaled slowly. She felt the weight of thousands of eyes pressing down, waiting for her submission. She met Zirak's gaze instead. Message received, she said. But know this, Earth does not disarm. Earth does not bow. You wanted our answer, Chancellor. You have it. She tapped the comm embedded in her cuff. A whisper of static, barely audible, slipped into the chamber. Phase 1, she said. Around the great hall, dozens of hollow panels flickered. At first, the delegates assumed it was a glitch. Then the chamber lights dimmed, and every console on the council floor blinked with alien symbols. No, not alien. Terran code. A cold silence spread. Celine stepped back from the circle, calm, composed, her hands folded neatly behind her back. Consider this our reply, she said. The blockade formed quickly. Within days of the Council's vote, the skies above Earth bristled with foreign warships. The orbit looked like a noose, massive dreadnoughts, angular cruisers, sleek carriers, all painted with the insignias of species that had voted to keep humanity contained. Their formations were deliberate, overlapping firing arcs leaving no blind spots. From the ground, they appeared as a glittering band across the heavens, visible even to those who had never seen war. News feeds broadcast them endlessly, fueling anger and fear in equal measure. Inside Earth's Defense Command, Admiral Celine Ward stood at the center of the war room. Dozens of officers manned their stations, holographic projections of alien fleets suspended in the air around them. Report, Celine ordered. Captain Arun Malik, her operations chief, spoke crisply. Council blockade forces, 385 ships, primarily Vaithran and Korati classes. Orbital interdiction patterns locked. They've begun targeting long-range comm traffic. Any transport attempting to leave orbit is being turned back. And the civilian response? Celine asked. Defiant, Malik said, though fatigue edged his voice. Volunteer militias are forming in every major city. Supply chains are adjusting, but panic's setting in. They're waiting for your word. Celine's gaze lingered on the holographic enemy fleet. To most, it would seem an impossible wall. To her, it was a puzzle. They're underestimating us, she said quietly. Malik raised an eyebrow. 385 ships doesn't look like underestimation. Numbers don't win wars, Celine replied. Understanding does. And the Council doesn't understand humanity. Not yet. Above Earth, the blockade commander watched with smug confidence. Admiral Tvrak of the Vaithran Dominion leaned in his grav throne, his obsidian skin catching the dim light of his flagship. Primitive world, he muttered to his staff. They think defiance is the same as strength. His adjutant, a spindly insectoid, clicked in agreement. Their fleet numbers fewer than 50 vessels, most outdated by centuries. The purge will be swift. Tvrak allowed himself a rasping laugh. Let them posture. When the order comes, we'll burn their ships and remind them of their place. Back on Earth, Celine stepped onto the command platform. Her voice carried across the room. Attention. Today we face the combined might of the Council's fleets. They believe us weak, divided, incapable of resistance. They believe their blockade will strangle us into submission. They are wrong. Eyes turned toward her. Soldiers, engineers, strategists, all waiting, holding their breath. Celine tapped the display, and Earth's fleet emerged in holographic form, sleek vessels hidden from galactic scrutiny for decades. Classified projects Aurora, Nemesis, and Phantom are now declassified, she announced. Gasps rippled through the room as new ship profiles lit the display. Angular destroyers armed with rail cannon arrays, stealth frigates coated with adaptive cloaks, carriers hosting swarms of autonomous drones. These are not outdated relics. These are the weapons we have built in silence while the galaxy dismissed us as savages. Today, we reveal them. A murmur ran through the officers, half disbelief, half awe. Malik smiled grimly. So that's what Phase 1 was about. You've been hiding an entire navy under their noses. Celine's lips curved faintly. You can't disarm what you don't know exists. The first test came hours later. A Vathran patrol frigate approached Earth's orbital boundary, weapons primed. Its captain broadcast disdain across open channels. This is Council space, he sneered. Any unauthorized Terran vessel will be seized or destroyed. Comply or perish. Celine authorized the response. A single human frigate decloaked. Sleek, matte black, it carried no identifying marks. Its engines burned blue-white as it accelerated toward the patrol. On the alien ship, laughter echoed through the bridge. One? They send one? The laughter ended when the Terran frigate's rail cannons fired. Projectiles screamed across the void faster than conventional defenses could track. The Vathran frigate's shields flared, collapsed, and its hull split in half in less than 6 seconds. The wreckage drifted, silent and broken, before its reactor detonated in a muted bloom of fire. The entire blockade saw it happen. Celine's voice echoed across the secured Terran channel. Message delivered. In the Council Fleet Command, Admiral Tvrak roared in fury. Primitive apes! They dare strike at us? His adjutant trembled. Admiral, they destroyed the patrol in a single volley. That weaponry. Silence! Tvrak snapped. He turned his glare toward Earth. Very well. If they want to test us, we will respond in kind. Ready the Armada. Back in the war room, Malik turned toward Celine. They'll retaliate with everything they've got. Good, Celine said. Now we know they'll commit fully. That's when we strike hardest. Malik frowned. We're still outnumbered. Even with the new fleet, the odds don't decide outcomes. Celine interrupted, eyes fixed on the holographic wall of ships above Earth. Humanity does. We've fought impossible battles before. This one is no different. The officers nodded, some reluctantly, others with fire rekindled. Celine leaned over the table, her voice low but clear. Remember this, they believe they are the predators. They believe this blockade cages us. They've forgotten one truth, Earth itself is a cage built on a death world. And predators don't survive long when they step inside. Far above, the Council's fleet tightened formation, preparing for escalation. Signals raced between ships, weapons charged, shields layered. From their perspective, Earth was trapped, surrounded, unable to escape. But in the depths of Earth's command bunkers, Celine Ward knew the opposite was true. The trap was not around Earth. The trap was Earth itself. She straightened, giving her final order for the night. Transmit to every Terran station. Phase 2 begins at dawn. The Armada arrived at dawn. From orbit, Earth's skies darkened as thousands of enemy vessels cut across the upper atmosphere, blotting out sunlight in jagged silhouettes. Dreadnoughts the size of mountains led the charge, trailed by swarms of cruisers and corvettes. It was the largest fleet assembled in living memory, an iron fist meant to crush humanity in one strike. In Earth Defense Command, alarms pulsed red across the war room. Admiral Celine Ward studied the holographic projection. The enemy presence was overwhelming, their numbers stretching the display to its limits. Estimate? She asked. Captain Malik's jaw tightened. 75 dreadnoughts. Hundreds of cruisers. Smaller vessels beyond count. They've committed everything. Celine's face betrayed nothing. Good. That makes this simple. The first salvo hit low orbit. Plasma lances cut through the void, hammering against the unseen perimeter. For a heartbeat, it looked as if Earth was unprotected. Then the air itself bent. Space rippled, and a shimmering lattice flared around the planet, a defense grid concealed for decades. The Aegis Array. Energy slammed against the barrier, rippling across invisible currents before dispersing harmlessly. The alien armada reeled. For centuries, they had banned such technology. To see it weaponized shook them to the core. On his flagship, Admiral Tvrak spat a curse. Impossible. They've built a planetary shield. His adjutant stammered. That requires silence. Increase firepower. Break it down. The dreadnoughts unleashed concentrated barrages, torrents of destructive energy colliding against the Aegis Array. Space shook with violent storms of light, but the barrier held. In the war room, Celine watched calmly. Grid integrity? 87%, Malik reported. Holding. Celine nodded. Now we show them what a death world can do. She tapped the console. Across hidden hangars and orbital platforms, Earth's secret fleet surged to life. Dozens of stealth frigates decloaked, sliding out of the array like predators slipping from shadows. Carriers launched drone swarms, thousands of needle-fast machines programmed with adaptive strike patterns. Destroyers emerged with rail cannon batteries already locked. The alien fleet barely registered the movement before the first volley landed. A Vaithran cruiser split in half, its armor shredded by kinetic fire. A swarm of Terran drones carved through a formation of corvettes, weaving around defenses in impossible arcs. Stealth frigates slipped behind enemy lines, detonating reactors with surgical precision. The galaxy had dismissed humanity as primitive. Now, their fleets bled under weapons they didn't know existed. Admiral, we're inflicting heavy losses, Malik reported, eyes wide as the holographic display shifted red across enemy formations. Celine kept her focus. Losses are expected. Watch for overcommitment. Moments later, the enemy shifted tactics. Admiral Tvrak broadcast across open channels, his voice venomous. Humans! You hide behind forbidden technology and dishonorable tricks. But you cannot withstand the weight of the Dominion. We will scour your world clean. Celine replied calmly, her words broadcast on the same channel. Admiral, you mistake cunning for dishonor. That's why you're losing. Her message carried across the armada. For the first time, alien officers doubted their orders. But numbers still mattered. Despite the array, despite humanity's ambushes, the enemy's mass bore down like a tidal wave. One by one, Terran ships fell, frigates exploding under plasma fire, drone swarms cut apart by flak storms. The array flickered under relentless assault, its lattice sparking as if strained to breaking. Grid integrity at 60%, Malik warned. Celine's jaw tightened. Time to gamble. She switched channels to fleet-wide. All units, execute Deathworlder Gambit. There was no hesitation. Every captain had trained for this moment. Terran ships began feigning disarray. Frigates broke formation, destroyers staggered as though crippled. Even the array flickered deliberately, giving the illusion of collapse. On the Council flagships, alien tacticians pounced. They're breaking! Press forward! The armada surged, overextending in their eagerness to deliver the final blow. Celine waited, every nerve taut. The enemy moved exactly as predicted, predators lunging for prey. No, she whispered. Hidden cannons embedded in lunar craters powered up. Orbital mines, long dormant, activated. The array shifted, collapsing in one section, opening a corridor that funneled the enemy straight into a trap. The ambush erupted. Red cannon fire from the moon shredded advancing dreadnoughts. Mines detonated in synchronized waves, tearing through clusters of cruisers. The array sealed shut behind them, isolating half the fleet inside Earth's kill zone. The predators realized too late they were the ones cornered. On Tvrak's bridge, chaos reigned. How did they? His adjutant couldn't finish. Tvrak slammed a fist into his console. This is impossible! No Deathworld spawn could. Then a Terran destroyer, cloaked until that moment, decloaked directly beneath his flagship. Its rail cannons fired point-blank. The blast ripped across his shields, collapsing them in seconds. "Admiral!" his officers cried. "We must retreat!" Tvrak's luminous eyes burned. Retreat meant humiliation, perhaps execution by the council itself. His pride outweighed reason. "No. Prepare the superweapon." His adjutant froze. "Chancellor's orders forbid." "I am the council's will in this sector," Tvrak snarled. "Arm it! We will erase them." On Earth, alarms shrieked in Celine's command room. "Admiral!" Malik shouted. "Enemy flagship powering unknown device. Energy readings are off the scale." Celine's eyes narrowed. She had expected fury, but not this. "What kind of weapon?" she demanded. "Not in our databanks. Whatever it is, if they fire, it could burn through the array itself." The war room fell silent. Officers turned to Celine, waiting. She steadied her breathing. The gambit had worked, but now the stakes had shifted. The enemy was willing to use weapons outlawed for centuries. Celine's voice cut the tension. "Then we do what humans always do when the impossible stares us down." Malik swallowed. "And that is?" "We adapt," she said. "And we survive." Outside, the alien flagship's weapon core flared, light spilling like a newborn star. Ships on both sides recoiled from the energy surge, unsure if they were witnessing power or apocalypse. In the war room, Celine leaned forward, her eyes sharp as blades. "Divert all power to the array. Prepare for counterstrike. This is where history turns." The room locked into motion, every officer galvanized by her words. Above Earth, the galaxy's greatest armada braced for a weapon not seen in living memory. And Celine Ward prepared humanity's final gamble. The alien flagship glowed like a dying sun. Energy built within its core, flooding out in jagged pulses that bent space itself. The outlawed weapon, the kind the Council had sworn never to unleash again, was seconds from firing. On Earth's command deck, tension pressed like a physical weight. Screens flashed warnings in crimson. The Aegis array strained, lattice lines cracking with each surge of enemy fire. "Admiral," Captain Malik said, voice clipped. "If that thing discharges, the array won't hold." Celine Ward didn't blink. "Then it doesn't fire." Every officer turned to her, waiting for an impossible order. She studied the holographic map, her gaze locking on the alien flagship at the center of the storm. "Prepare the array for overload," she said. The room froze. "Overload?" Malik asked. "That would destabilize the entire grid. If it collapses." "It won't collapse," Celine cut in. Her tone was steady, unshaken. "It will detonate. Focused outward. Their weapon may burn worlds. But we can turn Earth itself into a starburst. A wall they cannot breach." Whispers swept the room. It wasn't a defense plan, it was madness. Malik stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Celine, if you're wrong." "I'm not." Her eyes locked on his. "We've been underestimated our entire history. Today they'll learn why Deathworlders endure. Do it." Orders rippled across stations. Engineers rerouted power from every reserve, orbital stations, solar collectors, even city grids. Entire continents dimmed as lights flickered off, feeding everything into the array. Above Earth, the barrier brightened, threads of energy weaving tighter, pulsing brighter until the lattice resembled a burning crown around the planet. In the Council fleet, panic spread. Captains shouted reports of escalating energy signatures. The flagship's weapon core throbbed, racing against the Terran gamble. On the bridge of his flagship, Admiral Tvrak watched with disbelief. "They're overloading it. They'll destroy themselves." His adjutant's mandibles clicked nervously. "Or us," Tvrak snarled. "Increase output! Fire now!" The superweapon surged, a sphere of blinding light building at the heart of the alien ship. Entire formations drew back in fear. In Earth's war room, Celine raised her hand. "On my mark." Malik's throat was dry. "Grid at 105%. Structural collapse imminent." The array screamed across every sensor, vibrating the void itself. Celine's voice cut through the chaos. "Mark!" The Aegis array detonated outward. A tidal wave of energy exploded from Earth, not collapsing but unfurling, shaped by human design into a sphere of incandescent fire. Every enemy ship caught in the radius convulsed as shields shattered, hulls split, reactors imploded. The alien flagship's weapon discharged at the same instant, colliding with the array's blast. The clash ripped space apart in a bloom of searing white, a storm brighter than any star. When it faded, silence reigned. Half the Council Armada was gone, reduced to drifting husks or glowing debris. The flagship itself was torn open, its colossal frame bleeding fire into the void. On the shattered bridge, Admiral Tvrak staggered amongst sparks and smoke. Impossible! His luminous eyes dimmed as the realization sank in. Defeated by savages. He collapsed as his flagship broke apart, consumed by its own weapon. In Earth's war room, alarms steadied. Data streamed in. Surviving Council ships were scattering, their formations broken. "Admiral," Malik said slowly, "they're retreating." Celine exhaled, finally letting the tension drain. She straightened, her uniform torn at the sleeve, her voice calm but carrying across the room. "Send medical ships to survivors. Even theirs. Let them remember mercy was our choice." Officers nodded, some stunned, some relieved, all awed. The aftermath rippled across the galaxy. Council broadcasts, meant to declare humanity's defeat, instead carried the image of Earth rising from the fire. Billions watched the array flare and the Dominion fleet break. On distant worlds, whispers began. The Terrans endured. The Terrans fought back. The Terrans won. Species long cowed by the Council felt something new. Hope. If humans could resist, perhaps they could too. Days later, Celine Ward stood again in the Council chamber. This time, silence was not disdain, it was fear. Delegates who once sneered at humanity now avoided her eyes. Chancellor Zirak himself had not returned. His Dominion forces were crippled, his authority shaken. Without his iron grip, the Council fractured. Celine's steps echoed as she reached the center dais. She did not raise her voice. She didn't need to. Earth came to the stars seeking allies, not masters. You tried to make us kneel. You failed. Remember this, sovereignty is not granted. It is taken and defended. If you doubt it, ask the wreckage still burning above our skies. Not one delegate answered. Celine's gaze swept the chamber. Humanity does not seek conquest. But we will never again suffer chains. The galaxy will adapt to us, or fall behind. Choose wisely. She turned, leaving the silence heavy and unbroken. That night, as she looked out across Earth's recovering cities, Malik joined her. You know what they're calling it? He asked. Celine raised an eyebrow. The Day of Fire. Every world saw it. Every world will remember. Celine allowed herself the faintest smile. Good. Then they'll remember what happens when they mistake restraint for weakness. She turned her gaze to the stars. For centuries, humanity had been dismissed as too young, too violent, too fragile. Now, the galaxy knew better. Earth did not join the stars to kneel, she whispered. We came to remind them why they fear the dark.